This is Dan Dix here reporting for Press for Truth. We got a great show lined up for you today, guys, so let's jump right into it. Today, joining us on the line is John Anderson of TriumphGoldCorp.com. John, thanks so much for taking some time to speak with us today. I'm so incredibly interested in this space. I have been, in fact, since gold was trading at around $200 back in early 2000, and I've been paying close attention to the metal markets, in particular gold and silver, since then. And recently, I mean, it has been on a major, incredible run. You know, gold is doing better than it has since its intermediate bottom back in September of 2018, and silver's in November of 2018. So what do you attribute these factors to? I mean, a lot of people think this has to do with fears of these upcoming trade wars, potentially with China, or central bankers essentially eating up all the gold. What do you attribute this current rise in the gold price to?
I've been in the gold market for 25 years, and I've seen these stories and the fear and greed, the inflation. Now it's a deflationary trade. At the end of the day, what it is gold is a hard asset that is something you can actually tangibly hang on to. It is not just a store of value, it is a currency. And as much as the US dollar truly is the go-to fiat currency, and it is the currency that everyone runs to, gold is backed by its asset. And it's fully transportable, it's backed by what it is, and gold. And the US dollar and all these other currencies in the world are diluting themselves like crazy, and so all hard assets and other real assets are obviously going to increase in value. And there are other currencies that don't suffer that. You know, they look at the Norwegian kroner; it's backed by oil and a substantial equity position, everything in the world. Gold is pretty much the premier asset.
Yeah, it's kind of proven itself time and time again over really thousands of years. And now you got guys like, for example, billionaire investor Pierre Lassond, who has just plotted a chart for gold prices where he's projecting like 20 to 30 years in the future. And he has deduced that prices are going to reach a minimum of 5,000, maybe more realistically between 12,500 and 25,000. The fact that gold is multiplying in these prices more than 45 times, it seems, is huge. What would you say in terms of other investors? Should they be looking at gold right now?
100%. Gold used to, Canada used to be probably the equity investment capital for gold for years. And it was only in that 2000 period when you said gold was in the 200s where that completely got wiped out. So gold funds and gold, and pension funds used to have an 8% weighting in gold. Now they're down to 0. So there's specific gold funds, and it's a very specialized market. And Pierre Lassond really is one of the gurus of the world when it comes to this. For him to say that gold's going to go to $25,000 in the next 20 years, I believe in that. And it's not because I'm a gold bug, but he's not the only person that saw that, and he's by far not the first person. I look at Avi Gilbert, who's from the LA Wave Trader. He's probably one of the first guys that went out and said this in 2015. And he was talking about a 20-year to 40-year paradigm shift where money is going to start to come into the sector. And that's the very same number he put out.
Yeah, have you heard of this Patrick Byrne guy who ran something called Overstock? I just did a video on this a few days ago where he just sold all of his shares, I believe, gave away a few to the tune of around $90 million, and he's putting it into gold, silver, a couple of cryptocurrencies, but essentially he's hedging himself against a dollar crash, a stock market crash, some sort of coming crisis in the United States. Do you think that's a safe bet? I mean, when it comes to protecting your assets, and do you also see something coming down the road?
Well, I've been in the space for 20 years, and to go out and make those extreme comments, you're looked at as a psycho. But there are a lot of people that have done that, right? And at the end of the day, if you look at gold at $1,500 today, and where it was at the bottom, it's nothing. It's less of a risky investment than buying a U.S. bank or even a Canadian bank now, where these things could go to 0.
Now, I'm curious as to your views on just how important, let's say, things like gold and silver are to the people in places like China and India. I mean, there's over 3 billion people there. What do you foresee there? How important is gold and silver to them, would you say, or should it be?
Well, I've only been to India once, but I've been to China a lot. I was just there a couple of weeks ago, and gold is the premier asset, and you can barely buy physical gold. You look at the central banks, look at who's buying gold right now. The Indian central bank is buying, but it's really the Chinese central bank and the Russian central bank. And we in Canada and the United States, our banks don't promote that anymore. It's crazy. But gold is finite. If you look at the amount of gold that's ever been mined in the world, it wouldn't even fit in your house.
Yeah, that is a good point. That is that's a very interesting thing about gold. I think a lot of people don't realize how malleable it is as well. Did you know a matchbook size of gold can be spread out to the size of a tennis court, I believe.
It's more than that. An ounce of gold would go over a football field.
Wow. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's amazing. It's 19 times heavier than water.
Yeah.
It's transportable. It's a store of value. It's very finite. And in the world, assets, and you can look at art, you can look at vintage cars, whatever. When there's a finite value, they go up in value, and gold is very finite.
Yeah, and this is globally recognizable as well, and it's not about to go away anytime soon. Now, let's get in a little bit into Triumph Gold, because you are a man who has taken, shares from pennies to dollars, and you're now the head of Triumph Gold. Whose also biggest shareholders are Barrick Newmont and the biggest copper company on earth. So why would two of, let's say, the biggest miners on the planet be so heavily invested in Triumph Gold?
Well, Newmont, which bought Gold Corp was the company that bought into us 2 years ago, and they've got a strategic asset that they're developing they were developing, and purchased for $520 million, and it was 60 kilometers up the road. They're really interested in the geological side that we have, but also the geographical side, which I think your viewers probably don't care a lot about the details of it, but we are like a good real estate play for what they have. Geologically, we're also located along a geological structure that we've been able to take Gold Corp's money, which is now Newmont, and prove a concept that we are onto what we think is a world-class exploration asset. It's got gold, it's got copper, it has a substantial reserve, it's got great natural infrastructure in a very remote area. And so that's what Gold Corp bought into. And then so Gold Corp subsequently bought by Newmont. And so, yes, we do have the largest gold company in the world as an owner. And then we've also got the largest copper company through their investment fund out of Hong Kong, Zijin Mining, investing. They've got a substantial position as well because of the copper exposure. And also, it's in Canada. It's geologically political safe. It's in one of the provinces in North America and Canada that you actually want to go and develop a mine. In fact, one of our competitors, good friends of ours, Victoria Gold, just started pouring gold last week, September 17th, in the Yukon. So it's a great politically safe jurisdiction, and we have a substantial resource. So the prognosis for our company is fantastic.
Mm-hmm. Well, when it comes to mining, and let's take a look at this. I've seen evidence that gold ounces in the ground, for example, are valued at around $20 an ounce, and Triumph has, I believe, 5 million of them. That should give you a market cap of about $100 million, but you are currently only trading at $50 million. Where's the disconnect? What am I missing there?
Well, I'm humbled, so I'm obviously not doing a good job with that disconnect, but we have a substantial resource. It's a low-grade resource right at surface, and we really haven't worked on those resources to further them as far as doing engineering studies and lowering or basically decreasing the risk in those ounces at going to production. But what we do have is we have a substantial land position. It's 200 square kilometers, and rather than looking at when we were being valued as an exploration company in 2016, 2017, when I took this thing over, we said, what's the exploration potential? Let's find higher grade ounces. And so that's what we've done, is we've taken the geological evidence that we have on the property, all the historical work, and rather than look at this 5 million ounces gold equivalent, what's the real potential for high-grade ounces. And in the last 2 years, through Tony Baresi, who was our newly appointed president, he came up with some concepts, and we've pretty much knocked it out of the park as far as following up with his concepts from 2 years ago, confirming them last year, and we think knocking them out of the park this year.
Awesome. Well, it's a very exciting time to be involved in this space. So I think anybody paying attention to Triumph is going to be quite interested in this. What are the next action steps you would say for the company?
Well, I think the biggest thing is we are no longer going to market perform. So as gold goes up, the gold stocks obviously are trading, relative to the sector. If it's driven by AI or money that comes into the sector, who knows? But at the end of the day, we have a resource that you mentioned we're getting out, not quite $20 an ounce for it. Once we get valued for those, we're going to be in great shape. Mm-hmm. But I think when people realize that, and the market understands the porphyry and the big deposit that we're chasing here is a world-class exploration opportunity, and the upside is much greater than what we already have, then you'll start to see that. And we're very patient. We're financed right now. We've got incredible shareholders. We've got a very low burn rate, and we've got a property that we're not beholden to anyone. We have the rights to we don't have any property payments. We've cut down the royalties down to 1%. We're in great shape.
You guys are incredibly well positioned, and that's why I'm interested in it. And look, I'll go out on a limb here and be that guy to say, yeah, I think they're going to crash the dollar. Yeah, I think it's all going to come down. And yeah, I think we need to protect our assets and hedge ourselves against what is inevitably coming. I think it's just a matter of time, really. And gold is one of the safest ways to go moving forward. So I really want to encourage everyone watching this to check it out. What's the best places for people to go if they want to learn more from you?
Well, I think the best place would come visit our property up in the Yukon, but I think that isn't realistic. Our website, triumphgoldcorp.com, and anyone who wants to get a hold of me, just my mobile phone number, 604-218-7400. I'll call you right back. Awesome. We're passionate about this thing.
Fantastic. All right. Well, we will have links to those in the description, and who knows, maybe I'll make a trip up to the Yukon. I would love to see something like that.
It's a great place. It's not just a summer vacation place. It's 12 months of the year. Mines operate 12 months of the year. It's a fantastic place to be.
Awesome. All right, man. So we're gonna have all the links to all of that in the description below. Once again, everybody, be sure to check it out. John Anderson, triumphgoldcorp.com. Once again, thanks so much for joining us today.
I really enjoyed your time today. Thanks for having me on your show.
We all want truth. The truth will set you free.